Kathy, there are so many women and men who feel that organization within their homes and within their minds really means that they have to be perfect. But you specialize in helping them see that it's not about perfection, that it's actually about progress. How do you do it?
Thank you, Breye'l. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. Definitely. Society has unrealistic expectations. We see it in social media. We see the Pinterest perfect, pantry in house and perfectly staged homes for like Better Homes and Garden magazine. But for today's lifestyle, it doesn't always look that way. And it's really just unrealistic expectations. And I feel like if we can just be real and focus on managing and maintaining a functional environment and home, that's truly what brings us peace.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. And you said something that I would love for us to dive in on is functionality, because one thing I've noticed is that changes over time, right? What may have been functional when we were 18 years old and what seemed like fun, maybe filling our home with nostalgic things, may be
Hmm.
different once you go through a phase of having children, or functionality may be different if you go through getting married or separation, or maybe if you have elderly parents who wants to keep everything that belonged to their children, but now they have a wheelchair and that doesn't work anymore. So how do
Hmm.
you help people readjust to functionality?
I guess it's just having the perspective of our life is a journey and we have different chapters in our lives,
Mm.
and things that serve us at that time is awesome and amazing. But life has a series of changes, and as we're going through that, we grow, we develop other interests, and perhaps as we're growing and we're navigating through life, those things that were of value and so important to us, it changes. And
Mm.
so we should allow ourselves to grow and enjoy the journey along the way. So for everyone, it's a little bit different at different stages. I understand that, there are some special things that are near and dear to our hearts. And absolutely, we want to, they're sentimental and they bring good memories. So yes, we should hang on to that. But definitely allowing ourselves to grow. And if we keep bringing things in our home and we don't adjust along with our lifestyle, it's going to get really crazy. And that's where the freedom needs to come in.
Yes, I remember we touched on this a little bit in our pre-interview, but can we talk about stuff and how stuff holds energy? Because we're in a world where Amazon will deliver 50 packages to your door right now if you want
Mhm.
that. And I know that there are some people who are listening to this podcast episode and they're thinking, oh man, I just wish I could be free. I wish I could travel. I wish I could open my home to have parties the way I used to, or invite my children over the way I used to. But now the home is cluttered with stuff. What
Mhm.
energy does the stuff hold?
Oh my goodness, it is so easy to just click and, click and buy. And it gives you that hit of dopamine. You're like, oh, it's coming, but I mean, it's just too easy. And the media and society makes us think and kind of tricks us into thinking that more is better. You need to have this. This is going to do this for you. It's going to have instant results. And sometimes when those things come, they don't. They fall short. They fall flat on their promises. And yet you're stuck holding all of this stuff. And then some of the mind tricks could be, oh, I paid good money for that. But you have no intentions of using it, but yet it's taking up valuable space in your home. So, weeding through that takes intentionality and decluttering. No shame at all, but it's definitely could be a learning lesson and think, maybe I don't need the next best thing. Maybe I can be more selective with my purchases. Do I have a place for it? Is this item replacing something else I no longer need? It's just a different perspective on how you appear, how you see this item in your life.
Yeah.
But you definitely have to let go of some of the things. Otherwise, you're going to end up running out of homes to put things, and then you're going to start pigeonhole things. Then you might think, I just need a bigger house. I don't have enough space. But it does. It takes determination and diligence and being truthful for yourself and go, okay, what kind of life do I want to lead? What does my journey look like? If this stuff's holding me back, then it's time to reevaluate.
Mm. And holding you back could look like so many different forms, kind of like how we talked about just now, growing through the functionality, because holding you back could stunt like your personality, because maybe you used to be a person again who used to like to throw parties at your home, but because the stuff has piled up over like 2 or 3 years, things can pile up very fast in a
Right.
short period of time. And it also can maybe be challenging with family members. Do you
Mhm.
believe, or what is your perspective in reference to like hoarding? Do you believe that someone can be like a normal person, and then because now we have this new ability to obtain things, that all of a sudden somebody can kind of develop a hoarder lifestyle? Or like, what's your perspective on that?
Well, I do believe that if we're inundated with stuff and a lot of things come in our homes, um, it it does take away joy of people
Mhm.
that enjoy having people come over their house. It may start as innocent as, shoving things in drawers or doors and just closing the door so other people don't see or notice.
Yeah.
But then, sometimes emotional trauma can cause a trauma response, and there's different reasons why people hang on to things. It goes on so many levels.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if it gets to the point where it can cause damage to relationships and your inner peace,
Yeah.
it's debilitating, and I feel like it's not something anybody decides, okay, I'm going to be a hoarder. I
Mm.
think it happens over time. Maybe some emotional issues or trauma or just whatever may cause them to get into that situation. But most importantly, if it becomes to where it's not a healthy environment, mentally or physically, things are in their way and they can't function and they cannot use the rooms of a home as they were designed. I hope that their family sees that and knows that. And I'm sure that they try to get them help,
Yeah.
but they may not know how to help them.
Mm. Can you give the audience some advice on that? Because, for the people who, and it's funny I'm talking about this because people have a habit of like labeling themselves OCD. I feel like women do it a lot, like, especially just women who
Hmm.
like things clean. They always say, like, I'm OCD. And it's like, yeah, you're not OCD, because if you really were, you actually wouldn't be able to function like an average person, because
Right.
OCD is compulsive. Like, you have to close that cabinet door behind you 75 times before you can actually even get inside your car to go to work. So some people put
Hmm.
that label on, but people who are organized tend to judge their family members who have started collecting things. So what advice would you give to the audience about living in a judgment-free space, so that way they can actually have that compassion needed to help the family member?
Hmm. Well, I mean, I've had in the past where family members would say, I went in, I tried to help, it reverted back. I would say that, obviously it's a cry for help. There are some issues going on there. I think labels are not necessary. They're not hoarders, they're having issues and
Mhm.
they need support. And perhaps the family probably needs support too at that point if it turns them away or turns them off or they throw up their hands and they just don't know what to do. I would suggest that they find a support group of people that could probably help walk them through that so that they could better show up for their loved one.
So you're saying
So
the person who's the helper needs a support group.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, because if the person tries and they try to clean up the space, it's frustrating when they see it revert back.
Right.
That's just a band-aid on perhaps a bigger problem. And their loved one probably needs support to show up in a different way.
Yeah.
What that way is, I'm not really sure because it depends on what got them to that point.
Right.
But sometimes just having a support group for the family members or the friends that are trying to help, it'll give them a different perspective on maybe another way that they can help their loved one. And
Yes.
as far as like the OCD thing, I know, there's a clinical diagnosis for that. I think when people say that, they really mean that they're particular.
Yeah.
They like things a certain way. It does bother them if things are out of order, but that doesn't necessarily mean a clinical diagnosis of OCD. So I think, you know, it's kind of thrown out there that,
Yeah.
oh, I'm OCD. Well, it really means they're really particular. Now they could have OCD, I don't know,
Right.
but we would think that OCD is more debilitating.
Right.
That, did I turn off that stove? Did I turn off that stove? And then check 5 minutes later, did I turn off the stove? So, that's something that would probably be just really hard to have to manage
Yeah.
those feelings and those emotions and those compulsions. But
Yes.
definitely, I think, it's an appreciation for order. And
Yeah.
I think that's mostly what people really mean.
Yes. Ooh, so let's kind of touch bases on the appreciation for order.
Uh-huh.
Because did you always know that you were going to be an organizer with purpose? Like, did you just know at 12 and 13 years old, like, I'm going to organize people's space and this is what I'm going to do forever?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. My dad was in the military, so we moved a lot. He was in the army, so we moved a lot of places. So there had to be a routine, there was a schedule, there was order, um, and a plan. And so my dad is just, I'm so grateful that he passed that trait to me because
Yeah.
I can totally appreciate having order
Yeah.
and function and be able to manage what you have. So it started with that, just a lifestyle of growing up like that. My dad was by no means strict, and my mom and dad, they just came together and had a plan every time we had to go somewhere. But so having that and then getting older and having my own family, having to balance work life and schedules and what kids are doing and after school care, mealtime, having that set routine that my kids and that we thrived on. So appreciation for that. And then, in my professional life, I worked at car dealership industry for 26 years. And being in the accounting office and having the privilege of being in charge of all things paper and, the computer and processes and timelines, it all kind of coincided with each
Yep.
other. Did I set out to work in the car dealerships? No, but I knew that I wanted to help people.
Yeah.
And, not really knowing through that time what that looked like, it just kind of came to a point in my life where I needed to step back. My kids were grown. I had the flexibility and the freedom to decide, okay, what's the next chapter for me to look like? Because now life is changing.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I just kind of was trying to think, okay, God, what gifts did you give me that's natural that I can help other people because I want to serve? And so, just kind of thinking about, okay, what am I good at?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all good at something. We all have gifts, but what comes the easiest
Mhm.
with less effort? And connecting with people and sharing and just having a way of artistically seeing a way of how things could be
Yes.
and to promote positive change and the relation of how that positive change relates to how we feel. And
Yeah.
so it just kind of grew from there.
Oh, that is so beautiful because it's like you've already just given our audience the step by step of seeing and knowing you could be in your career space and you may have been in that career space for a long time. But when life does give you different scenarios, the kid grows up, something like COVID happens, people lose their jobs, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to have to pivot at some point in life. And so when that pivot happens, you really just gave them the goodness of the game to say, what are
Mm-hmm.
your gifts? What comes naturally? What feels good? It doesn't mean that as soon as you jump right into the next, you're going to be like you said, better home and garden and just
Uh-huh.
going to give it all to them at one time. But at least it feels good to know that even from a youth, to in your adulthood to even in this new purpose that you were able to see and translate those gifts and those skills and those talents. And that is what truly makes the journey. I see sometimes, especially with a lot of women, when I'm helping them with their professional confidence, they just want the end goal, but it's the journey of developing that personal confidence, that taking the time, like you said, to take a step back and say, what am I good at? What have I seen over the years as I've been growing and experiencing that has kind of been those stepping stones?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you saw it in the accounting. You didn't really expect to go down that realm, but when you were in
Yeah.
there, you still were noticing like routine, scheduling, order,
Yep.
and you
Mm-hmm.
applied that. What has been your most favorite part about helping people organize with purpose?
Seeing the relief. Walking into a space and they say, "I'm so sorry about my mess." And I'll tell them it's okay. They might be embarrassed, they might feel ashamed. Sometimes they've just been so overwhelmed they'll cry. But to talk with them and reassure them and just be calm and non-judgmental,
Mm,
and to be there for them so that they know that they're heard, validate their feelings. I'm not going to go, "Oh, no, it's okay." I want to validate their feelings because their feelings are real.
yeah,
And as the space takes shape and things change, then hope happens and then joy happens. And then they can see transformation. And it just is so beautiful.
yeah,
It's so beautiful because things and stuff make us feel a certain way. You hope that it can, make you feel creative, give you freedom, give you flexibility to do the things that you love the most. And if your stuff and your clutter is holding you back from living a full life,
yeah,
it could look so different for so many people. But to see that transformation, that whatever it looks like, I start seeing them to smile. I see them become joyful. They see the vision, they see the change. It gets them motivated. And, sometimes they take it from there and they just keep going.
yeah,
Sometimes they just needed just that little different perspective
yeah,
on how to view things and that there is hope and there is joy. And, you know, in the end of the day, it's just a lot of it's just stuff, not the sentimental things, but some of it's just stuff,
yeah,
and where does it fit in our life?
yeah, yeah.
And
That's
it's never too late to change chapters in our life. We continually evolve, we can keep reinventing ourselves, and our needs will look different.
yes.
So our things should go along with our journey.
Yeah, that is, oh, that was so good. Majority of your clients that you see, does it always kind of start with, and I'm not saying like hoarder clutter, but
Yeah.
does it always start with like heavy clutter, or is it sometimes the average woman where maybe her house isn't super cluttered, but she's just not happy with the fact that her clothes, or let me say it like this. maybe she wants the new transition where she wants her clothes to be color coordinated now, and she wants that
Hmm.
closet where the shoes are not in plastic containers anymore, but they're in the beautiful closets. Do you have
Yeah.
the clients in that phase also?
Yes, I do.
Ooh,
I do. And at any level, it's a joy to me
yeah,
because at the end of the day, I still get to help people. Everybody's tastes are different, everybody's style's different, and everybody's in different phases of their life. So for, a family with young kids, just to have the clothes folded and put away and hung up is their success at the moment. And
yeah,
we can make it better and functional so it's easier to put those things away,
yes,
right? Then you might have where maybe a little bit down the line, life looks different and they want a boutique style looking closet.
yeah.
And they have graduated to a walk-in closet, and it's big and it's beautiful and everything has a space. So to everybody, their self-care looks a little different, but wherever we are on that journey, we embrace it.
Yes. That is important right there on embracing where we are in the journey. Because if we kind of backtrack and go back to the societal expectations, right?
Hmm.
Society tries to make you feel like you only kind of have your closet and your home down packed if when you open up the drawers, you have all the storage containers and the seasonings all have the labels on them. When you go inside the closet, everything is perfect. And I think that's what's important, embracing where you are in the journey, because maybe right now that might not be in your budget
Yeah.
to have your closet look like that, but maybe that can be something that is obtainable in 2 years from now. But if you try to stretch yourself too thin in this phase in life, it's going to make it so much more complicated 2 years from now because they're not going to stop with the new trends. They're not going to stop with the
Mhm.
making you feel like you need the next best thing. So, how do you help a person become grateful for where they are with the level of functionality that they need in the moment?
I think I focus more definitely on manageability and function.
Mm.
Sometimes if a closet is packed to the gills and there's shoes all over the floor, they look at it and they go, well, I wonder what organizing tools I need, what kind of baskets or bins or all that. And that's good to think of that. But the first layer is to peel all the excess away. See what you have in there.
Yeah.
Do the things fit? When you put it on, does it make you feel your best?
Yeah.
If it does not, then you need to reevaluate. Does this even belong in my closet?
Yep.
Maybe it's fast fashion and it didn't make you feel as great as you thought you would.
Yes.
It probably doesn't need to live in your closet. Things that you use, basic staples, you can build, you can mix and match. That would be, money well spent.
Yeah.
But most importantly, if they can try on the clothes and see how it makes them feel in the store before they buy them, or if they get it from online and they try it on, if it doesn't make them feel their best, go ahead and send it back right away so you can get your money back. And then just focus really on what you have.
Yeah.
The function and the manageability is the most important thing. Decluttering, purging things that don't serve you, do not make you feel well, let and your best, then let's see what you have left over.
Yeah.
Let's talk about managing the things that you know you want to keep and you love and that you feel great in. More often than not, we can utilize organizing tools and or bins and all kinds of things that you already have
Yep.
without having to buy a bunch of new stuff, which saves you money too.
Yep.
So instead of moving around things and trying to make it fit and organize the chaos, let's peel back the things that don't serve you. If there's trash, get rid of the trash. If there's, clothes that don't fit, that have stains, um, just so many things. If it's not what you're going to wear, it should not occupy your closet,
Yeah.
for example, And then let's organize what you do have. and utilize the things that you do have. And if you still want that aesthetic, that's completely fine too. You know, my client can order those through Amazon or different places, bring it in, and I'll be happy to set it all up for them. The most important thing to focus is having a place to put these things.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter how many bins you have, or if they're pretty or they're fancy. If you don't have a home for everything, things are going to get piled all over again, and you're not really going to accomplish what you're really, that freedom you're looking for.
Yeah, that's so true. I remember when I was younger, my mom would do this thing every season where she would make us go in our rooms and we would have to dump out all the clothes, get everything off the hangers every single season. And we would have to dump it all inside the living room. And she would sit on the couch and one by one, we had to try on every single thing. And whatever did not fit, it immediately had to go. I get it
Yes.
now because it's four children. So, of course, she's not trying to go through a cycle of constantly washing unnecessary things.
Yes. That is definitely a benefit. And then making sure it fits
Yeah,
saves money. If it can be a hand-me-down, by all means, utilize what you have.
yeah,
So it saves time and money. Your mom didn't have to do unnecessary laundry
yep,
or manage those things.
yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. I
It
think
totally
that's
works.
terrific. That's probably not realistic for us adults, but a way to a solution to that would be, have a bin or a little clothes basket or laundry basket. And if you try something on and it just doesn't feel right, fit right, it's too much maintenance. I, you know, I only like to wash and dry clothes. I'm over the dry cleaning. Go ahead and put it in that basket.
Yeah,
Don't hang it back up.
yeah,
And after a while, as it starts getting full, then you can donate it.
yeah,
And that way you're gradually in the purge process and not saving it for a one-time event that may take hours. It's little increments at a time where you feel like you're accomplishing something, you're getting that momentum, and you have purpose.
yeah,
And then you can donate it to worthy causes that help other nonprofits,
yeah.
and really put these clothes and items, household items, in hands of people that really could use them.
Yes, that's so powerful. Talking to you right now also reminds me of, I want to say it was maybe back in 2017 when I was going through this transition in my life where I knew that I wanted something different. And I was working my full-time job and I got a part-time job at the shoe store.
Hmm.
And oh my goodness, Miss Kathy, on top of the buy two, get one free, and then my employee discount, my closet was wild. Like
Hmm.
wild. And I remember in that time where I had to take a step back and say, Breye'l, why have you purchased all of these things? And you triggered my memory by saying one-time things. And that's what I would do. I would buy clothes and shoes because in my mind I would say, oh, maybe I can wear this if somebody invites me out in here. Or I'm
Uh-huh.
buying these shoes because I think I remember seeing these pair of jeans in my closet or at the store. And these will go really good with that. I had so many one-off scenarios that they
Hmm.
accumulated so fast on me. And
Right.
then that's when I had to realize I had to go through a big purge because I took on the concept of being a minimalist. And I really enjoyed that phase of life because once I released myself from really what I was doing was substituting for what I didn't get growing up.
Yeah.
So when I got older and I got my own money, I'm like, well, I remember I wanted these shoes when I was younger. I would have liked to buy myself this and that. When I released the feel or the need to substitute for the younger version of me, and I took on that minimalistic mindset, and I know that's not for everyone,
Right.
but when I took that on, I became free and I really saw the energy in my life change because from there, I moved around so easy. I found it easier to move from one apartment when I was in Atlanta to another apartment because now my mind is not thinking, oh, I have to stay at this place that I really don't love anymore and renew my lease because I don't feel like moving these. I literally had 300 pairs of shoes.
Hmm.
When I started releasing and I was selling my shoes on Facebook, well, it wasn't like Facebook Marketplace then, but like
Right.
different little sites and stuff like that. And there was a
Mhm.
bit of regret, like you mentioned earlier, of I remember I paid this amount of money for it, but recently I learned this term, but it was the same case then of loss aversion. And a lot of people deal with loss aversion where it's a psychological theory that in order people find more pain in the thought of losing something, then they
Right.
can actually take on the gain of what'll happen if they actually just let the loss go. And
Right.
in that moment, I'm happy I didn't have loss aversion because I could see the brighter future that Brielle, if you get rid of a lot of this stuff, you're not
Mhm.
going to get all the money back that you spent for it. That's just
Right.
retail. But the freedom that's about to happen with now, like you said, you can actually buy clothes and shoes in staple pieces that I can
Hmm.
mix and match, help people have some clothes because I had a trillion of them that could help others. But again,
Hmm.
I also know that I freed myself to be able to move around, and I didn't know it then, but fast forward that was 2017. 2021, when I met my husband, I packed up. I had so little stuff by that time, Miss Kathy. All this stuff fit in my two-door coupe. And I went,
Wow.
yes, and I went and moved to Jacksonville, Florida with my husband. And because then I still had so little stuff, we were able to live in an 18-wheeler with just
Mhm.
our stuff for a year and a half. And then from the 18-wheeler, we were able to pack up our little bit of stuff and move out the country to Belize.
Uh-huh.
Imagine if I still had 300 pairs of shoes.
It would be more to manage. And that's incredible self-awareness for you that you discovered that. And a lot of things do root back to fears and desires. And when you're able to go through those things and those fears, you realize what motivates you, and it can be life-changing like it was for you.
Yes, so life-changing. Can you let the audience know how it is that they could simply start to organize with purpose?
Sure. It's, evaluating your space. I would choose a small space at a time. And, say it's a junk drawer. I would pull everything out of that drawer, lay it on the counter. I would group all the cords together, all the batteries together, all of the pens and pencils together. So you have everything separated by category. Then you can evaluate and go, do I need this many?
Mm,
What does this mean to me? Do I know what this goes to? Do these items have a purpose?
yes,
And then you only put back in the drawer what answers yes to all those questions. Am I really going to use it? Does it have a purpose? Um, Sometimes our mind gets like a junk drawer and there's just so much and it's overwhelming.
yeah,
So just breaking it down into small pieces, group, categorize, reevaluate. How does this fit in my life?
yeah,
And then you have to make a choice or decision. And sometimes it's not so black and white. Sometimes there might be a little doubt or you're not really sure. I would say don't stress out about that. If you really don't know, when in doubt, keep it.
okay,
But does it need to go right where it was? Is there a better place for it? And if you haven't used it in forever, maybe go, okay, maybe it was in the wrong place.
okay,
Let me put it in a place so it can be used. And after 3 months or so, you can be honest with yourself, reevaluate, and go, I put this thing where I thought I was going to use it and it just doesn't fit in my life.
yeah,
Then you can say, okay, well, it doesn't work for me. Can I gift it to somebody I know?
mm,
Because, it in our mindset, we could go, oh, I don't want to throw that away. I don't want to give it away. It has value. It does, but if you use the perspective of it doesn't serve me, but I can gift it to somebody else, How freeing is that?
Yeah.
Because you're helping somebody else, and
Yeah.
helping should bring joy. Giving should bring joy. So I would start with like family and friends first. Hey, do you need this blender? I haven't used it. It's brand new or whatever. And if that doesn't work, then who else can I give it to?
Yeah.
There's some organizations it's so easy to just drop and go because it's out of your hair. But if you just do just a little bit extra effort and try to make sure that those items get in the right hands, people can benefit it from it now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
very
yeah,
true.
start small and just really be honest with yourself. And like I said, if you really don't know, try to put it where you can use it,
Hmm.
or put it in a box and mark it and put it somewhere on the opposite side of the house. And if you haven't gone in that box in 3 months,
Yeah.
chances are you probably are not going to need it or use it.
Yeah.
So why is it taking up space? I'm not saying automatically get rid of it. I'm just saying you really need to reevaluate.
Yeah.
I would never tell people to get rid of their stuff because it's their stuff. There's
Yeah.
reasons why they have it, and only they really know the reasons for that.
Yeah. The audience has to know, Miss Kathy, that you're the one, okay? Because I am very much so with my people, get rid of it. Like, that's why I don't do what you do. And that's why you specialize in organizing with purpose. Because, Brielle, I'm going right in my family's area and throw this away. Why you even have this? Get rid of this. Don't, I'm that one. And I know that a lot of the audience may be the same way too. And I'm happy that we're having
Mhm.
this conversation because then the perspective of others can change and say again, maybe you're not the one to help your family member out. And though their stuff aggravates you, you're not the one to help them. You need to go
Right.
find a
They can,
professional.
right. They can consider, just talking to a professional.
Yes.
For me, it works for me because I am happy, go lucky, bubbly,
Compassionate.
encouraging. I can be a coach. I can be, we could be friends. And I just want to bring that wall down to where they feel relaxed and they know they're not judged, and give them the freedom to just evaluate
Yeah.
where they are in
Yeah.
the space that they're in. And you're right, not everybody is like that. Some people are just like cutthroat, just get rid of it, and they don't understand. But sometimes people just need to just be heard
Yeah.
and to have their feelings validated.
Yeah.
And it's all at their pace, it's all at my client's pace, at their comfortability. If somebody goes, you know what, I'm highly motivated, I know I want to get rid of all that stuff, great,
Right.
but not everybody's there, and it's okay. That's why I meet them where they are.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a process, or can you tell the audience what the process is for working with you?
Okay, well, sometimes, I put out a lot of ads, Facebook and all that stuff. I love talking with people. So, it could start with a phone call. They could go to my website and they could schedule a call. It's a complimentary consultation, and just a time to talk with each other, get to know one another, feel comfortable. My client can share with me, something about their space. And then I'll ask them specifically, well, is there a particular space or is it just a little bit, here and there? And so we'll use a space for example. And they'll ask me, well, how do you work? What does it look like? And I said, well, tell me about your space. Tell me what's bugging you. Tell me what's working. Tell me what your dreams are. And, what would you like it to look like? How does it
Mm.
make you feel right now? And so, based on that and how they feel about the space, and we'll talk about what's in the space. And then what's the intended purpose? How
Mm.
do you want it to be? And then looking at what they have, that could be by pictures on the phone. They could text it to me, or I could do a 1 hour in-home consultation. And we can talk about in person again, having that, that communication with each other and that familiarity, making sure it's a good fit,
Yeah.
and kind of talk them through the vision of based on the information they've given me, and probably more questions,
Yeah.
and talk about the possibilities
Yeah.
and what it could look like. And then perhaps they'll start seeing things from a different lighter perspective. And at that point, if they choose the 1 hour consultation, there's a fee for that.
Hmm.
But if they decide, okay, you know what? I really appreciate the information you gave me. How about I try it? How about I try on my own? And I said, that's fine. It's coaching, and it's empowering, and it gives them the ability to do it on their own. Or they can choose to set up a session. Organizing session could be, 3, 4, 5 hours, just depending on what the task is. I'm task driven, so we could just go ahead and get it done.
Yeah.
Or we can space it out,
Okay.
at different times, different intervals. There could be a maintenance plan where we might come in and work it's just me, I don't have a team, but me and the client can work together and get a space adjusted. And then maybe a month down the line, work on another area
Mm.
or come back for maintenance and then maybe revisit that area because our life is changing.
Yeah.
So, it's really based on how it fits into the client's lifestyle.
Yeah, that's beautiful because now it makes me, as we're coming to the end, ask this question because I know the audience is thinking, is organizing with purpose with you, is this subjective to just closets or can it be the kitchen? Can it be the garage? Can it be the shed, the attic, the basement? What all do you help people organize?
So it's the whole house. I can help organize the entire house.
Oh, yeah.
So, say the closets, free everything from the floor, from the top, go through the clothes, long sleeves together, short sleeves together, all the shoes together. More importantly, the function and the manageability so that
Yeah.
as you get more clothes, you have a space to put them.
Yeah.
A pantry, clean out the pantry, look at all the expiration dates, and before you put everything in there, make sure that it's things that are edible, that, fit the criteria. That can all be organized in a certain way. Same with the home office. If they're inundated with papers and they have piles and they need help with a system,
Yeah.
I can help them with this system. It goes beyond so much more than just making a home for things or making it look aesthetically pleasing.
Mhm.
It's more about functioning for the person who lives in that home.
Yes.
It's not organizing to my standards, it's organizing to their needs and what feels comfortable for them. So, literally, it's a garage, it's a kitchen, it's in any area of the home. So, it gives them the ability for the best function for them.
That's so good. Oh, Miss Kathy, this talk was so good. This was so good. You gave us so many practical tools, so many practical mindset shifts that we really can take and go on our own journey.
hmm
And be inside of a space where we not only look at our own closets and our own junk drawers and our own thoughts, but again, when we have those family members and those friends who may go through this, because there's a lot of people who suffer in silence
Yeah.
with the lack of functionality in their space. And so now the listeners are going to be able to take this practical advice and point their individuals, their family and their friends in the right
hmm
direction, in which the right direction is you. So if you can leave our audience with one last final tip, one last final piece of advice, what would it be?
I think for me, it would be true to yourself and your journey
Yeah.
and have things around you that reflect that journey.
Yes. That's got to be true to yourself. Have to be true to yourself. So, audience, Miss Kathy has confirmed that you can create and you can grow your dream space, right? And even for the women who find that knack in helping people organize and they love organizing their homes, she's the perfect example that you can go into your passion and you can go into your purpose and you can do the same thing. It's just the journey that you must go on. So remember, ladies and our gentlemen that tune into our podcast also, it's your responsibility to create and grow your dream business because it all starts with your purpose. It won't be perfect, but progress is always better than perfection. So until next
That's
time,
right.
thank you so much, Kathy, for coming onto our podcast. I truly appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on here. And I truly hope that it gives people inspiration.
Yes.
And if they feel like they need professional assistance, don't feel embarrassed or ashamed. It's really okay to ask for help because they deserve the best.
Yeah.
It's self-care.
Yes. And you have again proven that on this podcast. Sometimes we think self-care is just getting our hair done, our nails done, getting a spa treatment, but self-care starts inside the home because it's creating a space for abundance. And like you said, when that space is functional to you, that's the true version of self-care. From there, you can then see everything else even more beautiful from within.
So true. So
Yeah.
true. I love that point.
Yay. So happy that we had you on today. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.